Welcome to Infidelity Nest. In today's video, we follow Ella on an afternoon drive that begins as ordinary but slowly transforms into an experience that stirs reflection, emotion, and a deep appreciation for human connection. Ella had never imagined that a simple drive could carry such weight in her chest. As she eased her car into the driveway, the soft hum of the engine mingling with the fading sunlight, she saw Liam bouncing with excitement beside his friend, Noah. The sight filled her with a warmth that was equal parts nostalgia and anticipation. Something familiar yet tinged with an unknown curiosity. It was the kind of sensation that made her heart both tighten and expand. A subtle paradox she hadn't expected on what had seemed like an ordinary afternoon. Liam, ever the talker, launched immediately into stories about his latest project, about the games he and Noah had played, the small victories they had celebrated, and Ella listened with a soft smile, feeling an inner warmth spread as she watched their easy camaraderie. The laughter that flowed between them was effortless, a reminder of simpler times she hadn't realized she missed, fleeting snapshots of youth she had long left behind. She adjusted the seat, checked her mirrors, and took a deep breath, readying herself for the drive ahead. Yet, when her eyes shifted to Noah, she noticed the quiet way he observed the world outside, thoughtful and unhurried. There was a calm presence about him that invited contemplation, a steady curiosity that contrasted with Liam's boisterous energy, and it made Ella wonder about the stories that shaped him, the dreams that occupied his mind. The air inside the car felt charged, not with words, but with the subtle tension of shared awareness. Nothing had happened yet, and nothing needed to. And still the connection hummed quietly between them, an invisible thread linking to people through glances, gestures, and the shared intimacy of being present together. The engine thrummed beneath her hands as she pulled onto the main road, the sunlight gilding the streets in gold and amber, bathing everything in a warmth that softened the edges of the cityscape. Driving had always given Ella a sense of control and freedom, a clarity that settled her mind. Yet today that calm was laced with a gentle anticipation she hadn't felt before. She stole subtle glances at Noah under the guise of mirror checks, noting the angles of his features in the shifting light, the ease with which he carried himself, and the quiet attentiveness that made him appear both grounded and intriguing. It was not a romantic tension, but a recognition of depth, a human connection that reminded her she was alive, aware, and capable of noticing nuance in others. Liam continued to chatter, moving from one topic to another, his energy bouncing like sunlight off the walls of the car. Ella engaged lightly, laughing at his jokes, but her mind wandered along the quieter edges of the conversation, observing Noah's subtle gestures, the way he tilted his head thoughtfully, the gentle way he reached for the playlist, his fingers briefly brushing hers on the dashboard in a fleeting, entirely innocent acknowledgement. Each small interaction seemed magnified, as though the moment itself had expanded, demanding attention beyond ordinary perception. She realized that ordinary drives could hold extraordinary detail if one was attuned enough to notice. Her awareness of the space between them, of the flow of conversation, of the quiet rhythm of shared presence, reminded her that human interaction was rarely as simple as words alone. Noah listened attentively as Liam rambled, laughing in all the right moments, offering comments that were measured, thoughtful, and considerate. Ella found herself responding not only to what he said, but to the essence of who he was, the calm steadiness he projected, the way he seemed to inhabit the moment fully without trying to impress or dominate. It was quietly magnetic. They moved through the streets, the city alive with mundane energy, yet inside the car a bubble of serenity had formed. The world outside blurred as they shared space, laughter, and story. An ordinary routine transformed into a delicate study of human emotion, observation, and connection. Every glance, every subtle shift of posture, every shared smile carried weight beyond its immediate context. Ella marveled at how ordinary gestures could resonate so strongly when one paid attention. The tilt of Noah's head, the way Liam's laughter filled the air, the soft touch of a hand on the stereo dial. The sunlight painting streaks across the dashboard, illuminating features in a way that felt cinematic and deliberate. They stopped at a light, and Noah adjusted the music once more, his fingers brushing hers as he did. She felt a small thrill, not inappropriate, not romantic, but a reminder of how human connection could arrive in the most fleeting ways. In touch, in eye contact, in shared experience. It was as if the car itself had become a vessel for awareness. It's an intimate space that allowed her to notice depth in others and in herself. Driving on, Ella reflected on the subtle power of observation. She thought about the joy of witnessing genuine friendship, the importance of presence, the way laughter could build bridges between people, and the simple truth that sharing time with someone, even in mundane moments, could leave lasting impressions on the heart and mind. Noah's quiet attentiveness was a mirror to her own, a reflective calm that contrasted with Liam's effervescent energy, creating a balance that made the afternoon feel layered and meaningful. It was a reminder that life was not only in the highlights, the loud victories, or the obvious moments of joy, but also in the silences, the pauses, the soft glances, and unspoken acknowledgments that threaded through the spaces we share with others. The drive continued past familiar streets, cafes, and parks, each corner marking time and memory. Each moment a small narrative woven into the larger story of their afternoon. The sunlight began its descent, casting long shadows over the interior of the car, highlighting the contours of their features and painting their shared space with warmth and golden tones. Ella's mind wandered as she observed, reflecting on the transient beauty of human connection. How fleeting encounters could leave permanent impressions, and how awareness, attention, and empathy could turn the mundane into something profoundly moving. Liam pointed out a shop they had passed 1,000 times, spinning a story of childhood imagination and playful mischief. Ella laughed at his tale, delighted by his energy, while Noah's calm reactions created a counterbalance that made the moment feel complete, full, and deeply human. She noticed the care in Noah's gestures, the subtle way he moved, how he gave space without creating distance, how he acknowledged presence without intrusion. It was a study in quiet connection, a lesson in the elegance of observing and being observed, the joy of mutual understanding without overstatement.